today, we will teach you the first 5 rules of subject-verb agreement.
So let's start!
Rule number one.
Rule number 1. Subjects and verb must agree in number. This is the cornerstone rule that forms the background of the concept. So if the subject is singular, add s or es on the verb. For example,
A mother baked a cake.
in the sentence, mother is singular, so we just need to add s on the verb.
Rule number 2.
For rule number 2, the words that are in between subject and verb do not affect agreement.
Examples: the snakes who bites the kid are crawling into the forest.
In this situation, don't be confused between subject and verb because it will not affect the agreement. In my example, the snakes are the subject and are is being the verb. Then the word who bites the kid is disregarded as what the rule number 2 says.
Rule number 3. Rule number 3. Prepositional phrases between the subject and verb do not affect the agreement.
For example, the fruits in the tree are fully ripe.
In the sentence, fruits are the subject and are is the verb. We disregard the prepositional phrase which in the tree. Rule number 4.
When sentences start with there or here, the subject will always be placed after the verb. So care needs to be taken to identify it correctly.
There are the materials you need for your project.
In using there or here in every sentence, you must always take note that the subject will always be depends after the verb if noun is singular or plural.
Rule number 5.
For rule number 5, subjects don't always come before verbs in questions. Make sure you accurately identify the subject before deciding on the proper verb form to use.
Example, do you want to go out for a dinner?
So the subject here is you, and the verb here is go. The phrase between them is want to go.
Let's recap the rules number 1 to 5. Rule number 1. If the subject are singular, add s or es to the verb. If it is plural, you add nothing to it. Rule number 2. Don't get confused by the words that come between the subject and the verb. They do not matter. Rule number 3. Prepositional phrases between the subject and verb do not affect the verb. Rule number 4. Sentences starts with there or here. The subject is always placed after the verb. Rule number 5. Subjects do not always come before the verb.